Hi everyone. So this is basically my second time recording this video, and I have to talk a bit fast because the first time I'm recording this video, I had so much information that I could not pack into 16 minutes. Maybe I should record much more longer speed runs. Maybe I should throw on purpose and maybe like so I could like, you know, put in a better recording, but I mean put in like a longer recording for a longer commentary, but for now I have to like speed run commentary as well. So basically I want to talk about my music tastes. And basically how my music taste has changed quite a bit over the years. And I think I went on a bit of side tangents, but I'll try and go to those side tangents that I did before. But basically, me and my friend was talking yesterday, and I was like, wait, I haven't actually thought about this in a while. Like I had a lot of music tastes before my old music tastes. I mean, I had like older music tastes, and there was actually like I can remember the whole path that got me to where I am now. So basically when I was a wee child, when I was like a middle schooler, I was like, I barely had a conscience at the time. I was just watching Minecraft YouTube. And during the Minecraft YouTube era that I was watching like Sunday and everything else, I was like, wait, I mean, I also misplaced TNT here. I mean, there were like music things that were popping up in my feed, like this 80s playlist, this YouTube Music 80s playlist. And I was like, well, this seems pretty good. Let me check it out because I haven't really listened to music in quite a bit. Or like the only music I've listened to were mainstream stuff. Like I never really focused myself on listening to music. Like I've only listened to the radio or like everything else. I never chose my own music to listen to. So this is the first time that I actually chose when to listen to music. And I listened to 80s, like the YouTube Music 80s playlist. And I think there was like Whitney Houston and Take on Me and all of the big hits. And I was like, wait, this is actually peak. This is actually heat. And I started listening to all of them. And at the time, I was like using YouTube Music, like the YouTube Music app. And I was like, God, this is frustrating. Like, I cannot close the YouTube Music app. I cannot even close my phone when I want to listen to music. So I wanted another alternative. And I searched up YouTube Music apps and I was like, wait, there's Spotify. And I started to install Spotify and I started to, instead of trying to find which music I liked in a YouTube Music playlist and like making my playlist off of that, I instead copied every single song on the YouTube and the 80s YouTube Music playlist and put them in my own playlist. So I was like, okay, well, I didn't really like change. I guess I haven't really changed that regard. I still don't really like change, but I was just kind of every time I want to fixate on something, like I fixate on it. Like I don't move away from it. So I was just listening to 80s. And well, one day I got kind of tired of it, to be completely honest, because I was listening to the same like 50 songs like every day. So I wanted something new. So I scrolled down to the Spotify suggestions list, and it lists some 80s stuff, like other stuff like Bon Jovi and Guns N' Roses and everything like that. And I was like, wow, this one song seemed pretty good, and it was a 70s song. And I'm pretty sure it was like My Brown Eyed Girl by Brown Eyed Girl by I have this tab open. Brown Eyed Girl by Van Morrison, where it was released in like 1967. Ha ha 67 ha 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 ha. But it was released in 1967. I also do triple the gap here. It was released in 1967, and I was like, okay, well that's pretty awesome. Uh, but it was like considered a 70s song in my head, I guess, and it was like pretty good. So I decided to expand the 70s playlist with other songs. I should have had Spotify open, but I don't think I have it logged in on me right now. But I discovered other 70s songs which were pretty good, and I was like, within these seven pool of 70 songs, there was these songs by this UK group called the Beatles, and the Beatles were actually a really cool band because they were just really awesome. Like I was recommended this song called Let It Be by Spotify again, I'm pretty sure. And it was like, wow, that's a really nice song. So I decided to dive deeper into the Beatles catalog. And the reason why, I mean, not really a reason, but like the reason why the Beatles and not any other artist is because I've listened to the Beatles before, Like obviously I've listened to the mainstream hits like Hey Jude or Yesterday, and I was like, they are really nice song. Yesterday especially is a really nice song. Hey Jude, I didn't really like. Like not that I didn't really, I think it's a good song. It's just my attention span is not long enough for that song. Like every time I listen to Hey Jude and then it gets to the end bit, like the end bit that lasts for like 4 minutes, and I'm like, my attention span cannot last this long. Like I cannot listen to the entire Hey Jude song because it's just the same thing but repeating and repeating and repeating and repeating. And I'm like, I cannot deal with this anymore. So I didn't really like Hey Jude, but I decided to dive deeper into their catalog. And I was obsessed with him for a while. Like it wasn't really a hyper fixation, it was more of a fixation than anything. Like I just loved them a lot. Like I listened to every one of their albums, I listened to their solo stuff. Like I was my favorite Beatle, in my opinion, is Paul McCartney. Like I love all of his solo stuff. I love all of his songs and during the Beatles time. I love just everything about him. I just love him. And there I also love Ringo's voice. I love George's little silly thing, silly antics. I love the silly like songs and stuff. I love John's raspy voice and like he's basically a lead. I love his lead. And I love the Lennon McCartney partnership. And I was just like really deep into that for quite a while. And well, after like a year or like maybe like maybe like half a year, I was like, I could go more. Like well, not really I could go more, but like I wanted to listen to their influences, like because obviously the Beatles had to come from somewhere, and I listened to the Quarrymen and all of that. Like that was the basically the first Beatles, the first version of the Beatles. I listened to the Quarrymen, and then in some of their interviews, like the Beatles, they said like, well, we were inspired by like Elvis Presley and like Buddy Holly, and Buddy Holly especially, where I started listening. So I just started listening to Buddy Holly and Elvis Presley, and they were basically like 50 songs, the 60s like the Beatles. So I started listening to Richie Valens, Buddy Holly, Elvis Presley, and yeah, and I there was actually a really sad story about some of these artists. So Elvis Presley, he was basically I don't know what happened. I know what happened to him, but I probably don't want to elaborate here. But Elvis Presley was quite the artist and quite the person, and I love his songs. And then there was also Buddy Holly and Richie Valens, where they were basically like rock icons, I think, at the time, in the 50s. And there was this song called American Pie that was released in the 70s, also like a big hit in the 70s, that was talking about the day the music died. And when I didn't really clock into mind the day the music died at the time, and I was like, wow, that's kind of sad. It's talking about the different eras of songs, and there were like the Beatles and everything. I never really clocked that the day the music died was actually a tragedy. So when I delve in deeper into the Buddy Holly and Richie Valens situation, not situation, but like the Buddy Holly and Richie Valens thing, I scroll down the Wikipedia because obviously, like when I have a fixation, like I obviously visit the Wikipedia page first. But like I scroll down their Wikipedia page, and it turns out they died in a plane crash. And the day the music died is referencing that time when they died when basically they had horrible touring conditions. Like the bus was cramped and cold, and there were like the touring was horrible. So at the time, I was like, "Wow, that's what the song was referencing." Like the day the music died was actually when a plane crash happened, and then like three of the most iconic people in the rock world just gone like that. Like that was actually shocking to me. That was probably the first time where I processed like the concept of death. Okay, well that's like another thing. But like okay, talking about music again. Music, I just really love their songs, and at the time that was like really shocking, and I was like, dear Lord. But that was the thing. And during the 50s, there was also this artist called Doris Day, where she made like pretty beautiful ballads, and there was a song called Que Sera Sera, which I was upset, not really upset, but like I just liked the song. And like I loved her voice. I loved the style of music because it was like a bedtime lullaby, but not really a lullaby, but like it was just a bedtime-ish song. And like I just wanted more of that genre of songs. So I was like, where else can I find these types of things? And I was recommended the 40s. Like I was scrolling through like probably Wikipedia's and like Reddit stuff at the time, and I was like, the 40s, that seems like a pretty good era to be in. So I started listening to more 40s stuff. And during this time, it was jazz, or like 30s to 40s. They're basically like similar. So there, during the 30s to 40s, there was like jazz and big band and all those types of, and blues and all these types of things. So like there was this song that I was obsessed with, and it's called Ain't Misbehavin' by Fats Waller. I really recommend it. And it was like I put this song on loop. Like it was actually a really good song. And there was also this artist called Paul Whiteman, which who was like basically the most popular big band like composer, not composer, but like big band orchestrator. I don't even know what that's name, but it's called Paul Whiteman and his orchestra. It's actually really good. He was like the king of jazz or something. And there's this really good song called like Happy Feet, and like he did other basically songs like that. He just basically other songs along that kind of thing, and I was just really obsessed with that. So I listened to Paul Whiteman for quite a bit. I listened to that one specific Fats Waller song. I listened to other rocks. I listened to other jazzy things. And during this time, I was like, I could take this further. Like I went from the 1980s all the way down to the 1930s. So I feel like I could go even further down. So I went all the way down to 1890. So as my music taste devolved or like it like went down, my taste and like actual things like also evolved. Like I was more into antiques. I was more into like the old car models. Like I was into like old car models, old vases, old fashion, old everything. Like I was just obsessed with antiques. And at the time I was like, okay, wait, that's this is all of this is actually like peak because like I don't know, it's just really nice. I really love the style compared to other like modern things. Like I love Art Deco, I love all those things. That's just kind of another fixation I have. But I miss here, by the way, because I built too high. I didn't want to go in the lava, and I think I should have went down to the lava there. But I decided to just dig down from here, and I was just praying I didn't miss completely. So during this time, I was just obsessed with this artist called Billy Murray. Sorry if there's some mic issues, but like there was this artist called Billy Murray and Ada Jones and Arthur Collins and a bunch of other things. Where during the 1890s to the 1920s, there's just these genres called vaudeville, barbershop, and music halls and big band. I think just jazz, and it was honestly really good. Not really jazz, but like vaudeville and ragtime and big band were pretty big then. So at the time, I was like, holy crap, I love these a lot. So I started to listen to Billy Murray. I think you recognize one of his songs called not really his songs, but like a song that he covered. That's basically the style at the time. He cover songs and then like a lot of artists basically cover songs at the time. So you're basically like, hey, I mean, they basically have a hit called like "Come Josephine in My Flying Machine," which is honestly a really good song. You heard this song in the Titanic, like "Come Josephine in my flying machine, going up she goes," and then I miss his Euro here, but like that's basically how the song goes, and it's honestly like really good. And there's also a song called "In My Mary's Oldsmobile," which I was obsessed with because it's an Oldsmobile. Like it's a combination of my favorite genre of songs and my favorite like style at the time. Like those little carriage cars, like look like sleighs. It's actually really nice. Um, and I was obsessed with those. And I was also, especially, I was also obsessed with barbershop quartets. So there were there were artists that I was obsessed with. Called like there was one called Ruth Edding, which who is in barbershop. She's kind of like Doris Day. Um, she's kind of like Doris Day, but 1920s stuff, you know. Um, and there's Ruth Edding, and then there were quartets, like the Haydn Quartet, like Haydn Quartet, and then there's like the American Quartet, and there were like the Peerless Quartet, and all of those. I was obsessed with all of their songs. Like it was mainly like the World War One era where they sung like quartet-ish stuff. I don't know. It's like I just discovered that I just really love quartets. And during this time, I was stuck in this period for probably like a year or a year and a half, and the Dragon Purchase here. So I don't have much time to commentate, but one day I was listening to a kind of like the radio, not really the radio, but like suggestions, and I stumbled upon this one artist called the Beach Boys. And when I was listening to one of their songs, I was like, wait, this is just modern barbershop quartet. It's faster barbershop, basically, which I was basically obsessed with. And that is my hyperfixation for now. And that requires a whole video on its own. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.